from the national. Oh, yes, that was going to be my next step. But we're coming from the National Association of Senior and Specialty Move Managers. Thank you, Jennifer, for coming in. And we have a lot of people still coming on in. We've got Denver, Boulder, Austin, Texas. Just to let you guys know that if by chance you do drop off of this, just know it is being recorded. It is live a bunch of places. So we will have the recording up on the EXP DEI YouTube channel, as well as all over Workplace. Again, I'm Heather Brooks. We have Eve Hill. We are with EXP Seniors Network, and we welcome everybody from all over the place. We got Florida, Utah, Seattle, Washington. I actually have somebody that is an NA, as a member, as a manager, senior move manager, Lori Halbach.
Great.
Yeah, so she's here. We've got Phoenix. We've got all over Seattle, Washington, Utah, South Carolina. So hello, everybody. Again, thank you so much for coming. We're going to wait another minute or so as people come on in. Just to give you like a background about EXP Seniors Network, we are all about bringing in nationwide resources to network with real estate agents and people in the senior community. And tonight, Jennifer Pickett is going to talk about senior and specialty move managers and what it takes to work with senior homeowners and how to downsize, relocate, and organize their homes. This is somebody that you want to have in your back pocket in your local area. Jennifer is
I'm the co-executive director. Yeah,
correct. Co-executive director of the organization. So if you ever have any questions, or if you need somebody in your own area, she's the great person to reach out to. She can tell you where to find people in your area. Brian Greenwood said he's from Columbus, Ohio. Smooth transitions CMO there.
Yeah, Brian is one of our, he got quite a kick out of the title of your tonight's seminar, because they are a big member with NASM. They are called Smooth Transitions. They are a licensing organization, and they have licensees all over the US and abroad. So we work very closely with the Smooth Transitions family. They have lots and lots of members, and we're delighted to, be part of, have them be part of our family. So
well, that's the one thing that I try to convey, and Eve as well. We try to convey, you really need to get involved with your community and network and know the people in order to make a smooth transition, as you would say, for no pun intended, for a senior homeowner. It's a lot of moving components and a lot of parts. And most people, I think, forget that they've lived in this home for 40, 50, 60 years, and it's so difficult to get rid of stuff. Yet we as children look at each other and we're like, oh, I don't want any of that. We're minimalist. Yeah. So it's hard. And I love how you have a take on how to deal with that and how your move managers can help. Exactly. Margie actually said it's overwhelming. Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head. You're right. It is very overwhelming when somebody has to move from a 3,000 square foot house to a 400 or 600 square foot apartment. So with that being said, I'm just going to leave it to you, Jennifer Pickett. And
okay.
I'm going to just, let you start from here. I do want to let you know, we'd appreciate if you leave your mics off. We do want you to drop questions in the chat box, because both Eve and I will be asking questions to Jennifer on your behalf. At the end, we'll have a little question and answer if there's anything that hasn't been answered within the presentation, or if you haven't asked the question, she'll be happy to talk to you. You'll get her information at the end, and take it away.
Okay, well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for giving up your, I guess, Thursday night. Fortunately, there's no football tonight, or I would be like, oh, are you kidding me? But anyway, super happy to be here. Have done a few things with these women and with EXP, and really are excited about getting the word out about NASM and senior and specialty move managers, and how it can, help you in your own businesses, the importance of understanding what move managers do, understanding how to partner with move managers, or if you are so inclined, how to add move management to your current real estate business, which is a very, very popular model that we're seeing more and more of. So let's talk about, what is a senior move manager and what is senior move management? It is the profession that assists older adults and their families with their emotional and physical aspects of relocation, or when appropriate, and I know this is probably not something that you guys want to hear, but to age in place. Senior move management professionals, which are called senior move managers, which is a registered trademark of the National Association of Senior and Specialty Move Managers, have assorted backgrounds. They have come to this profession with a variety of experiences. Some are in gerontology, some in senior living, social work, healthcare, nursing, psychology. And what others come to this industry is from more of a corporate world of project management, technology, accounting, marketing. But at the end of the day, senior move managers require a profound connection and commitment to working with older adults and a desire to perform meaningful work. So I'm sure pretty much everybody here has moved at least once or twice, or like me, like 7 or 8 times. Making a move at any age is difficult and stressful. Recognizing and managing the stress of relocating older adults and those with special needs is the hallmark of the National Association of Senior and Specialty Move Managers. Our ability, or rather our members' abilities, to successfully manage transition trauma while helping older adults and their families through the downsizing and relocation process makes the move to their new home stress-free. NASM was founded in 2002 by a small group of senior move managers that found each other in an internet chat room, which tells you how old this is. Crazy chat rooms. Since their first meeting in the living room of NASM's founding president in Philadelphia, the association has grown to over 1,000 companies in the past 20 years. NASM has members throughout the United States, Canada, the UK, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. We are a trade association, so our membership is by company, not by individual, which means that a company joins and anyone who works for that company is a member underneath their corporate umbrella. As an association, we work to increase the visibility of the profession while providing education, advocacy, marketing support, and most importantly, standards of practice in senior and specialty move management operations and client services. The term senior move manager, as I mentioned, and senior move management are registered trademarks of the National Association of Senior and Specialty Move Managers, and only members of NASM, as we call ourselves, can call themselves senior move managers. In 2020, we expanded our name from the National Association of Senior Move Managers to the National Association of Senior and Specialty Move Managers. This change reflects the fact that most of our members move more than older adults. They focus primarily on older adults, but they will also help families who are going through divorce, college relocations, military moves, working with people with disabilities. And, and frankly, a family of, a young professional family who is moving from one city to another, who has, 3 young kids and needs to have someone help them unpack and, figure out what's going on. So while we the National Association of Senior and Specialty Move Managers, the fact of the matter is that if you need a move manager to help you with any type of move, they will be there to help you. We have strict membership requirements. Everyone who joins NASM joins as a provisional member. Provisional members are required to take courses that focus on core competencies in senior move management, including senior move management safety, ethics and accountability, understanding the moving industry, and contracts and liability. Additionally, all members must annually provide proof of general business liability insurance and a link to a live website that highlights their senior move management or specialty move management services. Once a provisional member meets our requirements, the member becomes a full professional member and is listed on our website. Only vetted members are listed on our website. Once a member fulfills all of our requirements, their listing reflects on the Find a Senior Move Manager section of the website. NASM offers both a state-by-state search and a zip code search. NASM's website receives about 15,000 unique visitors each month, with the average visit lasting over 4 minutes, which is pretty incredible. We estimate our members conducted over 300,000 moves last year and generated a gross income of $1.5 billion. This is an area which is going to continue to expand. The very first baby boomers are turning 77 this year. We are just beginning to reach the consumer who needs our services. Add that on top of the fact that downsizing has been in the press so much over the last few years. And, the reality is that our kids, so our kids who are in their, 30s, 20s, young 40s, they don't want our stuff. They are the target IKEA generation, and they do not want our stuff. They are very much into experiences. They are fine spending, $65 on a bookcase that they are going to put out in the trash, in 2 years, and it's fine. They don't have emotional attachments to possessions like we do, or more importantly, our parents and grandparents, because it's a completely different psyche now than it was, 50, 40, even 30 years ago. We also offer a certification program. So if you go to our website, you will see on the profile, to go to the Find a Senior Move Manager map, you will see the profiles, and you will see this little badge for members who are certified. This has nothing to do with membership. This is above and beyond. It is the only certification program designed exclusively for senior move managers. The SMM-C is the only credential based upon both knowledge and experience. Senior move managers who pursue certification have successfully completed 9 rigorous competency-based courses and can provide proof of 40 invoiced senior moves. Additionally, this certification is the only certification program for senior move managers offered by a professional nonprofit association. To add on top of that, in 2014, we launched the only organizational accreditation program for senior move management, the NASM A+ accreditation. As I stated earlier, NASM is a trade association, and the organization is the member, not the individual. So
I have a question, Jennifer, actually.
Yeah,
I want
sure.
to know, is this certification something that is available for realtors?
It is
Are we
available
gonna
for
go through
realtors.
that?
Okay. Yeah, it is available for realtors if they are doing move management. As I said, you have to have 40 invoiced senior moves to apply. So it's not just knowledge-based, it's experience-based. And I know realtors love to have those initials, but you actually have to be you have to actually be providing move management services to earn this credential. Does that answer your question?
Totally.
Okay.
I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah.
She has one, I'll let you know.
Okay. So our A+ accreditation is an organizational accreditation that recognizes organizations for achieving a level of competency in senior move management through demonstrated best practices in both client services, and business management, specifically in senior move management, coupled with industry contributions. This accreditation represents the highest level of professional achievement that can be awarded to a senior move management company, and it demonstrates the organization's substantial conformance to NASM standards. An organization receiving the 3-year NASM A+ accreditation also has put itself through a rigorous peer review, and they have demonstrated to a team of reviewers its commitment to offering programs and services that are measurable, accountable, and of the highest quality. About 15% of our members are currently accredited, with another 15% in progress. So a little bit about the profession. Why now, not before? You know, death, divorce, and moving are the most stressful transitions in one's life. And making the decision to move at advanced ages is surrounded by intense feelings of loss, fear, and guilt. Then you couple this with other realities. Families are geographically dispersed, and adult children are not often able to help with the moving process due to distance, career, and their own family obligations. Some seniors have no surviving children, or increasingly their children are older adults themselves. And if illness or death precipitates the move, the family is already drained both emotionally and physically, and they need help. Senior move managers emerge to fill these gaps to facilitate the transition for everyone involved. So we have seen this grow. I mean, I have been involved with NASM since 2006. There were 60 members when we first joined and took over took over the management of this association. And my background is specifically in association management. But why has it grown so much from 60 to way over 1,000? 10,000 baby boomers turn 65 every day for the next 16 years. That's a potential market of over 69 million customers. I hope that sparks your interest. Our vantage points are similar. With the very first baby boomers turning 77 this year, we are another 3 to 5 years away from hitting critical mass, with older adults needing to downsize. Older adults represent the fastest growing age group in the United States. It is projected that the 75 plus population will increase by 70% by 2025, in 2 years. Changing work and living patterns of older adults. Women comprise 47% of the US workforce. 66 million women are employed in the US. 73% of employed women work full-time. 7 million caregivers in the US. About 15% of all caregivers are long-distance caregivers, and that number is predicted to double in the next 5 years. Women are having children later in life and are now responsible for caring for both their own children and parents.
And by the way, Jennifer, I call that the sandwich generation.
Absolutely. That is what it's called. Yep.
Most of us on this Zoom call are in the sandwich generation, or have been part of a sandwich generation, where if you don't know what the sandwich generation is, it means that you have older adults that you are taking care of or are still with you and around, and you have younger generation, your kids or grandchildren, and you're sandwiched between the two of them. And you're taking care of one, the other, or both. And sometimes, as we're talking through this, that becomes a little hectic, having to deal with it. Again, I'm going to go back to the first thing that I said here, and I was looking at some comments in the comment section. There's two things that we need to do in this area. Doesn't matter if you're a real estate agent, if you're a move manager, I don't care. OT, PT, it doesn't matter. We all need to work together as a community to help the senior sector, because we all know that in order to connect with the senior sector and older adults, it takes trust, it takes time, and it takes compassion. And if you don't have all those tools, it's hard to work with them. They want trust and people. So whether it's getting a network together of senior move managers and all these people within your area and hiring or becoming one, you're part of engaging in what we need to do for our future. You heard the statistics. I mean, it's crazy. The statistics are crazy. And I'm going to give you one big statistic tonight that will blow your mind. Less than 5% of our nation's housing units can actually accommodate somebody with a mobility issue. So knowing that we're aging as a population and coupled with our nation's housing units, and when I say a mobility issue, walker or wheelchair, you have a walker or wheelchair, the chances are your home's not outfitted for it. So having somebody that's a move manager or aging place person or an OT and a PT, networking. That's why Jennifer's here. This is all about networking. It's not about, who does what or how we're getting hired. It's networking and learning the process of what's out there and growing and educating ourselves and our homeowners, whatever we're doing.
Very good.
Sorry, go on, please.
Okay, no, but so just to go back to this, also increased housing options. If you're dealing with older adults who are, looking to downsize, you need to understand what the housing options are for them. And the traditional senior living options are continuing care retirement communities. Those are, pretty high-end communities where there is an entrance fee. But then they allow you to live there through all the different stages of transition. So you may go in an independent living, and then from time, at some point you might need assisted living, maybe memory care, nursing care. That's what's considered a continuing care retirement community, or as we say in the biz, CCRC. But there's also a lot of new options, supportive living, which might be subsidized senior living or assisted living. With like Medicaid waivers, you're seeing a lot more 55 plus, like all of the Del Webb communities. It's important for you to learn the senior living options in your community. Go in and meet with their marketing staff so that you can understand, what services they provide. Because as you are, dealing with older adults, not that you are making recommendations, because that's completely out of the scope of service in terms of where they should be going, but you need to understand where they're going, because it's going to help you figure out, how you can best serve this client.
Also, what's great about knowing all those options and being provided a variety of options, that it helps the older adult have something to see that they can look forward to something else, and helps them perhaps let go of the things that they need to let go of if they have something to look forward to.
Yeah. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I think one of the big misconceptions is that, going into a senior living is somehow a death sentence, when really, in fact, the services, the opportunities that are provided to older adults who are moving really enhance their lives as opposed to restrict their lives. And that is, that's a problem with, a lot of things in aging services, because we, as a society, we associate aging with loss. And while that is the case in a lot of situations, there's also a lot of opportunity with aging. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So senior move managers, essentially at the core of what they do, they're project managers, and they are confidants. They're advocates for their clients. This is a very personal relationship. It's a relationship-based business. We joke about this a lot in the office, but when's the last time you were in your mom and dad's underwear drawer or their bedside table? This is a business that is based on trust. Senior move management is a high-touch, high-harm profession. And what I mean by this is that senior move managers are working with a client at a very delicate time in their life. And a move that goes badly can deeply affect a client. If there is the onset of mild dementia or chronic illness, the stress associated with a poorly handled move can dramatically affect the health of the client. There's actually a clinical psychiatric diagnosis called relocation stress and transition trauma. This occurs when a client's move is not handled properly, which can result in the client not being successful in their new living environment. As I've said a couple times during this presentation, moving at any age is stressful. But the reality is that nobody wakes up after being in their home for 40 years and says, honey, let's move. Something has happened to precipitate this transition. Aging in so many ways about loss of a spouse, loss of physical or cognitive abilities, loss of friends. And in so many ways, our stuff is what defines us. When older adults who are already experiencing different degrees of loss are now faced with losing their home and their things, it's not uncommon for that older adult to draw a line in the sand and say, I'm not moving. Because in so many ways, our stuff defines us. It is not uncommon for that older adult to, basically shut down. Our stuff weighs us down, but it is also the fabric of our memories. So considering that the younger demographics that we talked about a few minutes ago, the Gen X millennials have grown up in this Target IKEA generation, and they don't have emotional attachment to possessions. They aren't looking to take your bookshelf, your dining room set, your tchotchkes, your china, whatever. And so senior move managers help the client. This is really the hallmark of what we do. We help the client part with possessions without parting with memories. This is not a science. This is an art. I'll give you an example. Let's say that Mrs. Adams has a teapot collection. How do we handle this type of collection? A move manager would most likely ask the client about her collection, where she got the pieces, who she was with. And from there, the move manager would probably enlist a family member to photograph the collection and record stories about each piece. From there, the move manager might encourage the client to select maybe 5 of her favorite teapots. These will make the move with her. But the photos and the stories could be preserved in a digital format, maybe a poster of all the photos of her collection that could be turned into either, a poster that could be hung on the walls, or a photo book that could be on our coffee table. For our members, for NASA members, the client is the person who is in transition, not the person paying the invoice. But senior move managers work with the entire family to support the client. Not only is this move stressful for the older adult, but it's important to understand the stress that puts on the adult children, which is where you get into some crazy family dynamics. It's not about what she should keep or what she shouldn't keep or what he should keep. It's about the fact that I am losing my memories as well. Loss of the family home for adult children is traumatic, and the stress that can occur causes really crazy family dynamics. And senior move managers are an objective third party. They're a trusted resource who can guide the family through this journey. Their only horse in the race is the older adult, and at the same time, the family, because we want it to be stress-free and successful. So what do we do? What do our move managers do? They are full service. They help clients with all or most parts, I guess, of moving, including planning and preparing for the move, developing floor plans, preparing the client's home for sale, scheduling and overseeing the movers, handling donations, shipping items to the family members, arranging for storage, although we don't necessarily recommend that because it's just moving the problem. Profitably disposing of unwanted items. So that's estate sale, online auction, whatever. But full service does not mean that senior move managers provide all the services themselves. Many coordinate services provided by others to subcontract partner with other organizations. Here's an example. Senior move managers coordinate the entire move process, but they don't pack. Instead, they sort, label, and oversee the movers who do the actual packing. Another example is hiring a junk removal company to come in and assist with hauling away the unwanted items, or contracting with a cleaning company to clean the house once the move is completed. My slide just stuck here.
Can I jump in with a question?
Yeah, for sure.
Having natural compassion is probably one of the most important things, but can you talk a little bit about the specific psychological or emotional training or preparation that you give your move managers? So this is a very, like you said, it's a delicate situation,
So, I think as a rule, our members get into this profession because they truly have a desire to work with older adults. This is not easy work. And they are very, very compassionate people. This is a relationship that is built on trust. If you are working with a move manager who is, really just interested in the transaction, it's not going to be successful. And we have a national conference every year, which about, 400 and so members attend, where we talk about, best practices in client services and senior move management operations. But the reality is that if you're getting into this to make money off of the backs of an older adult, it's not going to happen, because, we are exiting the silent and greatest generations, and we are now working firmly with the baby boomers who really don't put up with any crap. That's the reality. They aren't the people who took the doctor's word at their word. They're the people that go and get 2 or 3 2 or 3 opinions.
Yeah.
Same with, when's the last time, any of us had a landscaper come out and we only had one landscaping quote? It doesn't happen that way anymore. We're a much savvier and demanding consumer. So if you are not in this business to really support and work with older adults to make sure that this move is successful, you are going to get slaughtered, especially now in a new era of social media and Yelp reviews. And, it's a completely different business than it was even 5 years ago, to be honest with you. So that's how I can say, members that come to NASM sign a code of ethics, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but it's about making sure that the person who is in transition is your client. I hope that answers the question. So back to what they do. Some of them pack. It's important to understand that if they pack, they need to be properly insured. If they do not pack, they will work closely with a reputable moving company and will supervise the packing to ensure a smooth unload and to protect the safety of their clients. You simply cannot prop doors, leave boxes and packing material lying around a senior living community that could cause, or in the home, that could cause a safety issue for the client. Additionally, things like medication. If you've moved before, like the movers come and they'll pack your garbage. So medication, a coffee pot, favorite chair, they can't be packed or will be the last on the truck so that the client will have immediate access to them during the unload. And many senior move managers will completely resettle the client in their new home. It's like a trading spaces moment almost. From organizing the kitchen to hanging the art and window treatments, reconnecting the electronics, transferring the utilities, all of that. And they will also provide related services to assist with the sale of the home, which I know is of particular interest for you. So, we know that most older adults really don't want to move. They want to stay in their homes for as long as possible. And this is probably not of super interest to you, and I'm going to preface that, but we do offer, our members will offer aging in place services to help older adults stay in their homes as long as possible, in terms of, home safety, home modifications, rearranging floor plans, bringing in technology and things like that.
I want to just chime in really fast with you saying that. Going back to the aging in place factor, I know that you do work with a lot of national organizations, and the National Aging in Place Council is one of them, correct? Yeah.
Yep, we do. And we also work
and-
with, home healthcare companies too. And,
I-
that's a great referral source for move managers, because at some point, the fact of the matter is the home's going to have to be sold. So even if even if the move manager, or I'm sorry, the client is staying in the home and perhaps dies in the home, there is still going to be the need to clean out the home, which would be great to have your move manager in place. And then for you to approach the home health care company to say, listen, we can handle the clean out and the sale of the home.
So, and the other, interesting thing, going back to what you were just saying about the moving part and decluttering. The thing with older adults is cognitive issues. When you take them out of the thing that they've known for 40, 50 years, their mind goes into a spin. And the one thing I love about the senior move managers is they understand the limitations and issues with certain, whether it be mobility, whether it be cognitive, whatever it may be, they understand it. So they will actually take pictures of the home and understand what that client's most important details in that home is. And Jennifer said the chair, she said a picture or the medication or the coffee pot. The reason why she said that was because when they go into a 4,000 square foot home and need to put it into 800 square feet, they will take the favorite things and they will lay it out in that home exactly the way it was in their own home to make them feel
Exactly,
like
Heather.
they were still there.
Exactly.
So it doesn't send
You're right. And exactly. What's also important about that is that, if the coffee table has always been 18 inches from the sofa, it needs to be there again. If they have had, a certain, gallery wall or whatever over, their sofa, recreating that home is so important in terms of helping an older adult resettle into their new home. And the reality is that they've been in a 3,000 square foot home. They have not used, probably 2,100 square feet of that for a long time. They're using their master, they're using their living room, their kitchen, and a bathroom. That's it. So for a move manager to be able to come in and help them part with all of that, and it doesn't have to be an all or one, some move managers will work with, a senior living community, and they will say, you know what, Mrs. Jones has been here. She's been through the tour. She's had lunch. We've looked at the space plans, all of this, but she says she's not ready. And I've given her, Susie Snowflake, senior move manager's card. Susie Snowflake, senior move manager, goes out and says, you know what? I have helped a ton of people move into this community, and I'm going to help you start to downsize. So maybe in, June, we do the spare bedrooms that haven't been touched since the kid moves out. And then maybe we go from there to, a shed or
I love
whatever.
your dot system. I love
Well,
it.
and at the same time, they are breaking down the barriers of moving and getting the house ready to be sold. And at the same time, they are developing a relationship with that client. So now they feel comfortable, and we are, breaking down the barriers of getting out of this house in what would have normally taken maybe 6 to 9 months, or even after the parent, died, and we're getting them out sooner so that they can better enhance their quality of life in a level of housing and services that supports them at this point in their lives. So, back to this business types. There are all sorts of different kinds of companies. Some of them are just straight senior move managers. Some of them are professional organizers that have added this. We're seeing a lot of real estate agents that are adding this level of service to their companies. And that's not like, oh, I partner with a move manager. That's like, I actually have move managers on staff. Similarly, with home stagers, home healthcare companies, aging in place specialists, elder law attorneys, design firms, and moving companies that offer a separate senior move management division, because movers are not move managers.
I don't want you to move the screen. I want everybody to look at that last screen really fast. Do you see all of these people on here? Those should be people that you're networking with in your database that you should be contacting and having for your senior homeowners, and partnering up in your community to do talks to bring this education to those homeowners. Partner up with them. See if they already have a real estate agent that they're friends with, or a home care person. If you are in the home care business, if you are in, an aging in place or an elder law attorney, I would say elder law attorneys or aging in place specialists, you should be contacting these people as well, because the networking part is what helps your business tenfold. Engaging, educating, being a part of this, and knowing who the people are in your area is very important.
Can I go now?
Your list was amazing with
Thank you.
very specific, detailed people that are important to have.
Okay, so I just want to touch on a couple slides if you are at all interested in adding move management to your business. As real estate agents, you are working with clients in all demographics. You have moved a family multiple times and now they're selling their family home and want to downsize. We are seeing an influx of real estate agents who are adding move management services for this very reason. The family has a relationship with you. They trust you. The relationship that is so essential in senior move management is already established. So you already have customers. It's a natural progression if you want to expand your business. So how do you do this? Here's my little sales pitch. We recommend you join our organization. You invest in our industry-specific training and get started. We can provide you with a wealth of resources, from training and marketing to mentorship and industry standards and best practices. If you are interested in expanding, you can purchase a 1-hour coaching call with me to discuss your business plans and how NASM can assist. During this call, we will answer all of your questions about adding move management services, and we'll take you behind the scenes into the members only section of NASM so you can understand the resources, tools, support, and member benefits that we provide you. So what's your initial investment? Because I know that's all on your mind. NASM membership, $449 annually per company, which means that anyone who works with you or for you is a member under your company umbrella. There is no additional membership fees. We require that all owners take our cornerstone course training. The 4-course bundle is $189. It is required. It will not teach you how to become a senior move manager, but it focuses on 4 core competencies in the areas of ethics, safety, understanding the moving industry, and contracts and liability. And our front door training, which is $14.99. It is our complete business development program. It comes with everything from, soup to nuts, understanding move management business, understanding marketing move management, understanding the operations of move management, understanding how move management relates to the overall aging services industry. That's $14.99. Or you can buy the new member bundle for $18.99 and get all 3 of those. We require that you have insurance, general business liability insurance for your move management business. We require that you have a website that illustrates your move management services. But what we provide you then is additional marketing materials, all sorts of tools, things for you to consider. Staffing is a huge issue right now. You have to determine your scope of service and, hiring staff to meet that. And as it is for all small businesses right now, move management is no different. Staffing is a problem. You cannot hire subcontractors, 1099s to work in this profession. If you are telling subcontractors where to go, what to do, or providing them with a uniform, apron, name tag, etc., allowing them to use your tools. These are employees, not subcontractors, and you will put yourself in IRS jeopardy. We've seen it happen over and over. Determining your scope of service is also an important consideration. As a NASA member, you are right now required to provide 4 or 5 core services. But the NASA board just voted that we're requiring that all members provide floor plans. And the reality is, I don't know how you can downsize a client if you don't have a floor plan for their new residence. There is nothing worse than getting to the new residence and you have too much stuff. You've just basically moved a huge problem and it just adds stress. We do not require that packing is a core service. Packing involves a lot of liability for both your company, your client, and your staff. I'll try to explain this a little bit, but if you are packing, it's considered, and you're using a moving company, you've done all the packing, it's considered packed by owner. And when it goes on the truck, if it gets broken, it's not covered by your insurance because it was out of your care and custody, and it's not covered by the mover's insurance because they didn't pack it. So our position on packing is that if you can't replace it at Target or Walmart, then don't pack it. You know, linens, clothings, pantries, charities, charity packs, those are fine, but leave the arts, antiques, collectibles, electronics to professional movers. So I guess my next question is the benefits of using a NASA member. There are currently members outside of our NASA community that offer downsizing services. However, there are really important reasons to make sure that you're always partnering with a NASA member. First of all, they specialize in helping older adults and their families with the daunting process of downsizing and moving to a new residence. They have expertise, resources, and approaches that save money, reduce stress, and produce quality results. Their services are client-centered and personalized to meet their clients' needs and to promote their clients' dignity and autonomy. And they have a national network of qualified senior move managers at their fingertips to assist clients from coast to coast and frankly around the world. Additionally, a NASA member, can be referred, and they meet the same strict membership requirements. They all carry general business liability insurance at a minimum. And because we offer an insurance product to our members, the majority of our members carry both general business liability and professional liability insurance and are bonded. They also, as I mentioned earlier, have to take courses on ethics and accountability and taking courses that focus on understanding the moving industry, safety, contracts, risk, and liability. All members have been screened for experience and must provide references from the senior clients they have moved. So what can they do for you? They can help your clients organize and declutter. You walk into that home that they want to put on the market and you're like, oh my God. Send a senior move manager in there to help them start to organize and declutter so that it's presentable for your real estate clients. Sorry. They can coordinate the dispersal of unwanted items through junk removal, donations, auction, estate sale. They'll get rid of the stuff. Are there repairs that need to be made? Let them coordinate their handyman services, cleaning services. And they can, if it's gotten to the point where we're going to clean the home out, let them help you prepare that home for sale by cleaning out and staging. The other thing I want to bring up is that, ethics is really, really important. All of our members are required to sign the NASM Code of Ethics. Over a decade ago, we established our NASM Ethics Compliance Commission. The commission reviews, revises, and enhances our code of ethics. Additionally, The Compliance Commission guides our members' conduct while ensuring that the goals and values of our profession are both reflected and advanced. And while complaints are rare, but they do happen, the NASM Ethics Compliance Commission reviews any consumer complaints that may be lodged against a member by either a client or another member. A consumer using the services of a NASM member can be confident there is an effective oversight of this profession. Additionally, our members are required to provide their client with both a written estimate and a contract outlining the services and fees. Failure to do so is a blatant violation of our code of ethics. Okay, so how much does it cost? I can tell you I don't know. But the average hourly fee for senior move managers is between $60 an hour. These fees are going to be much higher in urban areas like Boston, New York, San Francisco. Most senior moves take between 17 and 24 hours, not including the physical move. Most companies charge by the hour. However, many will offer packages to allow some flexibility in pricing. And it's also possible to purchase a la carte services like space planning or unpacking, or just purchase blocks of time. So how can you partner with a move manager? You can visit our website, and you can contact our office by phone or email. And that's my story.
So I just want to chime in here, Jennifer, because I don't know if you were able to hear me, but I got so excited because I was talking about the DOT system that you have, which ended up really ironically, Chip messages in the thing. He said, good cop, bad cop. I don't want to be the one telling my clients what they need to get rid of. And Chip, let me tell you, they have this great DOT system that helps senior homeowners not only be involved, but be in charge of what's the piles that it's going to go into. So it really doesn't become a good cop, bad cop telling somebody what they need to do.
It's really, it's keep, donate, or toss. There's one of the big mistakes that people make is a maybe. The maybe is no good. No maybe. You have to make decisions. And so, a maybe becomes the biggest pile. And that's, unless you're willing to go back then through the maybe and do the keep, donate, toss, you know? Absolutely.
The other thing I was going to say is, here's your other alternative. And it's not a cheap one, by the way. But when she's telling you that it's $60 for a move manager and you put it together, I think you've spent about, $3,000 to $5,000. Here's your other alternative. Your other alternative is that home sits vacant with all the stuff being housed in it, when it could be sitting in a storage unit for much cheaper. So having a senior move manager involved to help when a family has that daunting task to have to move stuff out.
All right, I'll give you my own personal story. My mother died of cancer in 2012. And my father at the time was 70. I mean, they were very young. She was 69 and 70. And they had downsized once from a very large home to a 2,500 square foot, ranch with a basement kind of a thing. And when we decided that it was time for my dad to move to Michigan to be closer to us, and we hired a senior move manager in Indianapolis, and my father had started smoking in the house after my mom died. And so, we've got the paint, the carpet, all of that. And we hired a senior move manager, one of the NASA members who is in Indianapolis. And, they came in and we were able to work with the realtor and the stager. She came in with my dad, who basically said, I don't need anything. And she's like, well, Jim, as we go through the kitchen, you're going to need a fork. You're going to need a spoon. You're going to need a bowl. You're going to need a pan. But she could tell that my dad had no patience for this. And he didn't. He just, he was so beyond in grief and everything. So, the reality is that she took the stickers and she's like, okay, we're taking this. And he was like, 20 minutes they went through the kitchen. And, and the same for the bedroom, everything else. That was, it probably took them 2 hours to go through it. And that was where his patience level was. And that was it. But what she did from that point was packed everything and put it all in the garage for St. Vincent de Paul to come and pick up, worked with the realtor, worked with the painters, the carpet company, stager, and got the house ready to sell. We moved my dad out the weekend before Thanksgiving. The house sold at the end of January.
And, Margie, by the way, brings up a great comment here. She's, it's also it's much easier when you use somebody, the independent person, rather than a family who's going through it. I do know I had, earlier this week, I had a talk with one of our members that's on a chat, and he was talking about a client of his has been trying to sell her mother's house for the last year. Her mother's already passed away, but she's sitting on the house and she is so overwhelmed with all of the stuff that's in this house that she's literally paying all the insurance and all the upkeep and everything else. And they go over there every Friday and they wheel out the trash cans. Nobody's living in it. It's literally housing stuff. So just thinking about the money that you would spend on a senior move manager to just help you as a family member after somebody's passed is so important. And I hope he speaks up, because I think you really should have his client contact you.
I hope he does. We'd be happy to help. I mean, at the end of the day, as it, the only, the only horse in the race is the client and subsequently their family if the client is passed. And, we just want to be able to offer as much support and, resources as we can. And, we've been very, very successful in doing this. It's a $1.5 billion industry. It's unfortunately, it's not a service that everyone can afford, but with the sale of the house, it's generally something that, that absolutely, and we're not talking about, tens of thousands of dollars. We're talking about
Chip actually brought something up great. And Chip actually said sometimes you can sell items to cover the cost of the expenses of a senior move manager. And one of the things that Joellen Brooks, who is a real estate agent within EXP, she deals with seniors all the time in selling real estate. And she actually has a tent, and she does garage sales for her senior clients. So when they need to help them with something financial, she does a garage sale with all their stuff. She and her team sit there with a big tent and she does a garage sale. She hires the move manager, but the garage sale gets them the money to help them with the senior move manager.
Well, and there's also, I mean, let's not rule out, the amount of technology that's in place. I mean, in terms of online auctions, online, consignment, things like Everything But the House or The Real, but then there are other online auctions like estatesales.net, Max Sold. I mean, there are all sorts of really good technology platforms that are out there to help people, where as opposed to having an estate sale company come in and saying, okay, we have to have a $15,000 minimum. Our stuff is not worth what, for most of our older adults, it's not worth what they think it's worth. But if they have art, if they have collectibles, if they have
antiques,
jewelry, antiques,
hit or miss, yes, but
hit or miss. I mean, if it's mid-century modern, we're even almost on the tail end of that. More now that you can probably get more from a Pokemon collection than you can from a but regardless, there are ways to both, monetize their stuff. But I mean, and don't disregard, the value of donations and, and tax write-offs. I mean, organizations like Habitat for Humanity, their restores, they're crazy for that kind of stuff. So, where, other thrift stores are like up to their ears in like, big, heavy oak furniture. There are places who, are repurposing things, which is super cool, especially things like China and things like that. There's lots of places that will repurpose. We actually have members who have both consignment and repurpose stores. I mean, if they were, an artist or whatever, you can look for places that will, take the stuff. They may not, give you top dollar for it, but at least it's not going into a landfill and it's going,
that would be a major benefit of having a move manager, because researching where to put the collection of teapots and where to put the collection of artwork and where to put the collection of, bottle caps, you need someone to do that research for you.
Well, and they have a network of, well over 1,000 members who, if you put it, that we have what we call our community forum, and they can put that out there and they'll get, I remember a couple of years ago, it was sort of a crazy thing, but somebody had a really high-end wine collection to ship. And all of a sudden, probably 8 move managers that said, contact this person or contact this person. And this is what you need to know. And this is what you need to think about. And, so even if they don't know what to do with it, they have an entire network to find it. And it takes that off your list.
And going back to, because we're going to end this conversation, going back to networking. This entire month we've been celebrating Senior Citizens Month. And even though it was only one day in August, but we decided every Thursday of this entire month to do it. And we did it because resources. If you do not have those resources as a business person, I don't care what business you're in, if you do not have those resources and you are not networking them, you will never make it in this demographics, period. I will tell you, you will not make it.
And,
network.
Right. And here's the other thing about this is that you are going to have to try really hard to fail in this demographic. It is the biggest demographic. It has the most, disposable income wealth, but they are also a new breed. This is not the silent generation. This is not the greatest generation. This is a very discerning and demanding generation. And we know it because we're all in it. Right? Yeah. Don't look at them like they're any different from us, because they're not. Well, except for me, because I'm actually technically Gen X, but only by
going back to when she's talking about this, they also own most of the homeownership demographics. Mm-hmm. So when you know that less than 5% of our nation's housing units can actually accommodate someone with an aging issue, right, that in itself is going to be eye-opening. And then one more last statistic I'll leave you with, but in the last 10 years, we've doubled the amount of centenarians, which means we're living a lot longer, which, by the way, makes sense because of technology and medicine and care that we have out there. But imagine what's going to happen over the next 10 or 20 years. That number is going to triple and quadruple. So we need this. We're at the bottom floor of what's about to happen. We're like on this big trajectory in the aging community. And
the sooner that you make these connections, the better.
Yes.
And go to the NASM website, look and see, put your zip code in, look and see who the move managers are in your area. If you're interested in adding move management services, we can certainly help you figure that whole journey out, and you just need to send us an email. So I thank you all so much for hosting me tonight. It's been a real pleasure for me to see all of you.
Jennifer, can't thank you enough for
my pleasure.
Coming through. We so appreciate it. I just want to thank you from EXP Seniors Network, myself, Eve Hill, and Morgan, who's behind the scenes.
Yeah, she's the brains behind this business.
She's the one that's literally doing it onto 5 different platforms live. We will have the recording. If you guys fell off or you needed information, we'll also post information on how to get a hold of Jennifer Pickett. We are in September going to have a class with Joellen Brooks on like how to market on Nextdoor. She's doing an amazing campaign on Nextdoor and working that sector. So she's going to teach us, if you want to learn how to do Nextdoor, check out all the posts that we'll be posting on that. But thank you so much for joining us for Senior Citizens Month. And Jennifer Pickett, thank you again for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate everybody.
Right. Bye-bye.
Everyone.